Welcome to Today Matters. I'm reading a brief selection from Mark 9:21 through 24. Just to set this up, a man brought his son to Jesus for healing. Boy, did he need healing. He was having seizures. He was unable to talk. It says, Jesus asked the boy's father, "How long has he been like this?" "From childhood," he answered. "But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us." "If you can," said Jesus, "everything is possible for one who believes." And at this point, the man exclaimed, "I believe, help me in my unbelief." I don't know about you, but those are some of my favorite words in the Bible. I believe, help me in my unbelief. Jesus was being much more gracious than some people would, because Jesus didn't say, "Whoa, dude, buddy, you don't have enough faith. Just, I believe, help me in my unbelief. Sorry, but we have matching luggage and lovely rotisserie and parting gifts for you." No, Jesus didn't respond that way. He went ahead and healed the boy. Now look, before I go on, I believe in healing. I have experienced healing myself. I have seen healing in friends I have prayed over. I believe God can still do miracles. I believe he can still do healing. But we've got to be careful not to promise more than God does. And what we usually hear today is that you can't have any struggle with your faith. Number of years ago, many years ago, when I was going to college at San Jose State University, I had a friend, she had asthma, and they advertised what they called a night of miracles. They were not simply offering to pray over people, they were promising that they would get healed. But not everybody did get healed. So when it didn't happen, they put the onus on the person and their lack of faith. Now this person, I won't get into this much, she was as shy as can be. For her, I'm telling you, for her to have gotten up out of her seat and walk forward was as much faith as she could have. The guy laid hands on her. She talked about the asthma. He laid hands on her. Nothing happened. This is what he said. I remember the words exactly. Okay, I really believe God's working here. There may be a setback from Satan. I think you should claim it on faith. Now, if you're wondering what that means, let me tell you what that means. It means nothing other than that the guy should go into politics, because that was a politician's answer. They're promising healing, and if the healing doesn't happen as they promised, it's your problem because you didn't have enough faith. Let me tell you something, the weakest amount of faith is enough faith. Jesus said the faith of a grain of mustard seed, the weakest amount of faith is enough faith. If you're going through a trial, if there's something you're asking God for, maybe it won't happen in the timing you want. Maybe God has something else for you, but don't make things worse by being hard on yourself and saying you don't have enough faith. By the way, the faith is in what God has promised. I think of Abraham. We often hear Abraham as an example. He's the father of our faith. Remember, Abraham's wife Sarah was on in years. She wasn't able to have children. And yet God visited Abraham one day and said, "I'm going to give your wife a baby. It's going to be a miracle." The Bible says Abraham believed God, and it was reckoned to him as righteousness. That's wonderful because it was something God promised, and Abraham believed and accepted the promise. This is how it did not go. Here's the alternate version. Abraham was not sitting under a tree one day saying, even though my wife Sarah is beyond 70 and beyond childbearing age, I think I'll just name and claim a miracle. That is not what happened. When God promises something, then we're called to believe it. And yet how much belief? This much. I believe. Help me in my unbelief, and he will help you. He loves you so much. If you had been the only person in this world, he would have become a man, come down, and died for you on the cross, even if you had been the only person alive. As it happens, even though other people were also alive, he was thinking about you personally on that cross. That's how much he loves you. He will give you what you ask in his timing, or maybe something different. He's not a genie in the bottle. It's not the story of Aladdin. It's the story of God. We'll see you next time.